Brandon's just joined us. I assume to react to the Sesko news. How happy are you about your potential new £90 million striker?
Oh, phenomenal, Tel. Can't wait. To be honest with you, I don't really care. Whoever the manager gets or whoever gets given to the manager, it doesn't matter because the rule's still the same. There is no excuses for next season, none at all. If you decide to spend £90 million on Sesko and that's your guy, then you better get him to perform on the pitch. The same as if you decide, like with Zubamendi, for example, you better get him to perform on the pitch. He better bring something different to this team. He better be able to, help carry this side. I am a little worried, I ain't going to lie, because if we're going down that route, for me, Gyökeres is definitely the more preferable, as you pointed out yourself, with the goal scoring record, speaks for itself. And I think he's the player who's ready to go now. Whereas Sesko, he's a bit more of a project player, might take a little bit of time, to settle himself in. Maybe he's got a higher ceiling. I've heard a lot of Arsenal fans talking about him potentially having a higher ceiling. I don't really care, Tel. It's not, what Arsenal decide to do in the transfer window has no effect on the pressure that is on the manager for next season, and he has to deliver next season. A little worried, like I say, though, because I'm hearing certain things like, Rodrigo potentially available, potentially on the market, and there's rumours coming out that Arsenal don't want to pay him 200 grand a week, but we're happy to pay Kai Havertz 280 grand a week. So if things like that are true, then that is worrying because you've got a player there who has the potential to come in and make a huge difference to this side, a winner, and you don't want to pay him 200 bags a week, but you're giving Kai Havertz 280. Like that makes sense. So I think it's too early to judge what Arsenal are doing in the transfer market because transfer market ain't even open. But what I would say is I'm seeing other clubs signing players or making moves for players that we should at least be in the conversation for. I'll name one right now. Liverpool are more than likely to sign Wirtz. I think we should have at least been in the conversation for that. Not saying that we should have signed him, but we should have at least been in the conversation because let's be honest, it's not just Arsenal get a striker and that solves all of our problems. We need a lot more than that as well. And Arteta himself has said about how the best team in the market or the best in the market is the ones that's likely to be more successful. It's all about getting the better players. So why are we not in the conversation for these players? So I can only hope and pray that Arsenal have something up their sleeve. But worrying times, and it's not just because of us either. Like I said, other teams are moving now. Liverpool are not resting on their laurels. They've won the league. They're going out. They're making moves now. I think Chelsea as well, right? People play it down about Chelsea. I heard Dan Potts on the show the other day talking about how Chelsea are embarrassing for celebrating top four. But I think them celebrating top four and getting Champions League football as well as winning the Conference League yesterday also sparks bad news for Arsenal, really, because they've got Champions League football. That's what players want to attract them to Champions League football, so they can go out now. They can attract the top players. We know their owners will spend money as well, but also they've got a squad there that has been given to Maresca, which they've spent a lot of money on, and they've proven now that they can win together, which is something that Arsenal haven't done with this squad. The last player to have represented Arsenal in the FA Cup final when Mikel Arteta won it was Kieran Tierney, and he's leaving this summer. So we haven't shown as a team yet that we can win. We've got other teams around us that are showing that they can win with the players that they've got, and they're only going to get better as well. And we're watching other teams making moves early in the market while we're kind of dilly-dallying about which striker do we want, which one don't we want. I don't care. Just go and get somebody, but perform next season. You have to do something, otherwise you're out.
No, listen. I think a lot of Arsenal fans would agree with a lot of what you're saying there. It's a little bit too early to judge. Don't know all the reasons and rhymes and rationales. Someone just sent me a link from Fabrizio from about 2 weeks ago that spoke about Man United being in for Gyökeres at that, in for him, and as a player we're looking at, and sort of alluded to Champions League may play a part in it. Chelsea links into him today, so maybe this has happened because you missed out on him, and that And I know Arsenal fans won't give a damn about other clubs, and I understand that to a certain degree. At the same time, you're not out here in the market just shopping for yourself. I think it's about waiting and seeing what you buy in totality and then how they look. We've done this a lot. How many times have we sat there and gone, oh, this team's won the transfer window, and then they've been shit the following season? So I think there's also most rivals bigged up what Man United did last summer. I remember, United moving like a big club. Look at the players. We finished 15th. I remember the fanfare that West Ham got last season. Look at the business they've done. Awful campaign. So I do agree with you, Brandon. You've got to wait for the window to open, see where the dust settles. Let's see how teams actually look next season with these signings. But I do get the concern that people have. If the story is true that Berta's been told what to do by Arteta, I kind of get why people are miffed by that. Wayne here says, wait, Arsenal are signing Zubimendi, being linked to top players, but Arsenal not in the conversation. For fuck's sake, make it stop.
Yeah, but Zubimendi, that whole news about Zubimendi, that came about in January. That's not new news. That's something that we knew about for time. Like, that deal should or was already wrapped up back in January, according to the sources. You know what I mean? So we should be moving on to our next targets now. Do you know what I mean? And it's all right saying about Zubimendi, but like with Zubimendi as well, nobody really knows how much he improves this Arsenal midfield. And this will bring me to a quick point about Man United as well. Everybody talking about Man United and finishing 15th. I don't know why certain clubs haven't looked at the way that Jurgen Klopp rebuilt the Liverpool side, right? Jurgen Klopp predominantly shopped in the Premier League. He brought the best players that were available from the teams that are not so good, the mid-table teams. I think Man United should do that. They should shop in the Premier League because there's a higher percentage of players succeeding at your club because they're already playing in that league. Rather than going and dropping 50, 60, 70, 80 million pound on players that play in foreign leagues, they need time to settle in. Just go and buy the best players that are available in the Premier League now, that you can get your hands on.
The market's different with the Premier League now, though, because every Premier League club gets a lot of money. So, but not say you didn't get much money back then, but now the amount of money a Premier League club gets if they're in the league for 2 to 3 years, which is typically at what point you buy the player because they've shown it for 2 or 3 years, they don't need to sell anyone. So they can sit there and ask for 70, 80 million at that point.
Yeah, but to be fair to United, Tom, they're after Liam Delap, who's budgeted around 30 million.
That was a decent one.
I think Manchester United's DNA is to buy the best talent available in the Premier League. I think that's what made them the team they were.
We've not done it for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's part of what made Manchester United great, isn't it? It was
where I agree with Brandon again. It's something that a lot of our links this summer, a lot of the players we're linked to are from that. You're always going to get players from abroad. Fergie did that, but you think about strikers, and Gyökeres is an outlier because of the numbers, but we went and got Andy Cole. We went and got Van Persie. We went and signed Teddy Sheringham, and there's others. Dwight York. There's loads of these players we went and bought, and Berbatov. Yeah, and I think that there is something in that, and that's why I'm encouraged by the links to the Mbomos, the Cunhas as an example, because they're in the Prem, they know the league, they've got the physicality for it. And again, if we were to land those two, I know we need number 9, but I honestly think between the two of them, they could score 30, 35 goals in the Prem next year for us, and that's what we need. We are so shy of goals. Ladies and gentlemen,
what I will say is there's one striker that no one's talking about that is definitely available. João Pedro. He's leaving Brighton. Like, where's that guy going to go? I thought he was nailed on for Chelsea.
Teams don't need a penalty taker. They don't need a penalty taker. His open play goals are horrendous.
I hear that. Listen, I want to.